Hey Cats fans, it's Sunday morning, it's just past 9 o'clock. I've got my cup of coffee, I'm feeling good, feeling really good on a Sunday morning after a big win against the Eagles. I've got a special guest with me today. I think, hang on, he's over that side, there he is. Simon Hargraves, aka Simon Reviews Beers, aka Renegade 77. I like to call him the Sim Dog. How you going, Sim?
What's going on, man? What a game. What a game.
How good was it?
Oof. Yeah, the Knicks are nine in a row, so it's been pretty good. Or did you want to talk footy?
Yeah, it's actually a pretty show, mate. We're not talking NBA, but I'm happy that your Knicks had a win. But anyway, good for you. Might actually make the playoffs for once.
Oh, we're back. Simple as that. We're back.
Anyway, so the Cats had 139 to 137 or 136 to 139, something like that. 97 points at Kidney Park. Don't know what the crowd was, but it looked like it was a healthy 24,000 or something like that. Not too bad.
Yeah, it looked pretty packed.
Yeah, so it was a good game. The first quarter was looking a bit dodgy, but just turned it on in that second quarter, didn't they?
That's the thing. At quarter time, we were down by 5 points, I think it was. But we were playing poorly, but we were still close. So that was kind of the good thing. It was like if we can just get something moving forward, we might be okay. But then, man, that second quarter just went nuts.
Bang. Yeah.
Bang.
Got West Coast got that first goal. You think, oh, here we go. Give them the innocent team the first goal of the game, and you see, what happens when an away team gets off to a good start. But then, we sort of stayed with it a little bit, and I thought, oh, okay, this is interesting. And then second quarter, just went whooshka. And 10 goals?
10 goals to, I think it's 10 goals 1-1 behind or something.
Something like that, yeah. So a 60-point differential, which I think is pretty much up there with the biggest smashing in a quarter that West Coast, or the second most anyway, that they've ever had. Just a quick look at some of the stats. So absolutely insane. But we all remember back in 2006 when we were 54 points up at halftime against West Coast.
Yeah. Were we both at that game?
I don't know. I reckon I was listening to it on the radio. I can't remember. It's a while ago now, but we went to it.
I remember being on the wing for that game. I remember being up, and that was in my period of time where I was so anti-Bomber Thompson. I was kind of half like, if he loses, he could be gone. So I was going to sit back and see what happened to you. And then we ended up blowing a 9-goal lead. I remember because that Monday night, I went to the sponsors' dinner. I was sponsoring Travis Varco. And you wouldn't have known they'd lost the game. All the players were all so happy and upbeat, and it was kind of like, we're just accepting this. It was just a bad period of time. And it was funny that in less than 12 months after that, we just turned it around, went nuts.
Crazy. So, anyway, we'll move on from that year. It's a horrible, horrible year, and we all know that things got a whole lot better after that, didn't they? So let's have a chat about Duncan's torpy after.
He's put it in back pocket.
In the wet.
I know, man. That was good. The camera angle right behind it, as you could see it, just sliding in, and I don't know how one of those guys didn't get a hand on that, but man, that was a 60-meter barrel.
We were watching the replay, and I'm thinking. He's going to get this surely, and then about 60 seconds later, they're still back forth. Slide it back, slide it forward. No, he's nothing there. Just call it a goal. Anyway, that was great. I couldn't believe it. I was thinking when he got it, I thought, oh, he's a chance from here. He's not bad from this angle, this distance. But then I saw where he was actually taken off from. It was about 58 metres, 60 metres out. That's probably asking a bit much in the wet. But the West Coast, they had a shocker, and they couldn't even get a hand on it. I think they sort of got within. I think it was probably they could have touched it about a foot out, or a couple of feet out from the goal line, but they just couldn't. Both of them couldn't get a hand on it. So beautiful.
That was a beautiful kick, man. I haven't seen any of our players pull out the old torp for a long time.
Yeah, no, it's great. What do you think of Jez's debut?
Pretty good. Early on, he didn't get much of it, but that first quarter wasn't really down there that much. So, but as soon as he got onto it, that first goal, the kick snapped it around the body. It was a beautiful kick. Then not long after that dribble from about 40 out, nice. Probably could have given that one off, but
the first one, exactly. I mean, there was a couple of blokes running in towards goal there. I'm thinking maybe a handoff. Oh, Closey was running past, I think. I thought maybe a handball there would have been nice. And, looking at the replay a little bit later, I thought, maybe Close was under a little bit of pressure, but I still would have given it. I would have still would have liked him to see the handoff in that situation. But hopefully he got a bit carried away with the big crowd, and he'll remember the Geelong way in weeks to come.
Yeah, they did give one off in the square to was it Menegola, I think.
So I think it was I can't remember now, but it was definitely late in the piece. Yeah, he sort of decided to hand one off and could have had 4 goals for the game, but yeah, gave one to his teammate. So that was good. I think that maybe they had a word to him.
So yeah, that's it. Hawk said, "Hey, this is how we do it: goal assists."
Yeah. Do you think the Jerry McGovern, the groin injury that he got, do you reckon that made a bit of a difference, especially in that second quarter, second half?
Yeah, probably, because he's pretty good at. He'd take it big, but he also floats a lot through half back. So you take that out, then they don't have another guy who can float around like he does. So we're all man on man, and if you play our bigs man on man, you're not going to win too many contests.
No, I thought sorry.
If you do half one of those contests, you got our small guys are pretty good around the footy. So
I thought if they had gone into the game without McGovern, they probably would have set up a little bit better and might have had a bit more structure. But they looked a bit lost when he went down. They just didn't really have. They lost all their defensive plan. They just didn't have any idea. No one knew what they were doing, and we just tore them to shreds. So we'll see how they go next week. I'm sure they'll put in a better effort when they can pick a team in the absence of McGovern, but clearly him going down was a massive thing for them. I don't know whether it all made a heap of difference. Probably still would have won the game, but he would have stopped a fair bit of that, you'd imagine.
Yeah, you'd think so. He's their best defender. He's probably the only really good big defender they have. They've got a lot of smalls like that, Barris and Rotham and all that, but they're too small to take on our big guys and a lot of big guys around the league. So, yeah, if he's out for a long time, then they're going to maybe have a little bit of a slip.
Yeah, that's it. A lot of comments on the Twitter through the week after last week's game about the Cats players just looking a bit flat, looking like lost a bit of passion, don't seem to be getting around each other a hell of a lot. But Jesus Christ, did they change that on the weekend? Must have been watching the show. What do you reckon? We talked about that last week, but goodness me, were they showing a bit of love for each other? What do you think?
I don't know. It's good to see, man. They're up and about. They're smiling, they're hugging, high-fiving, slapping backsides. It's like it was back in the days when we were winning. So but we're still winning. We're coming back to that. All it needs, one game can turn things around. We've seen it happen before. Last week was kind of like, we just got over the line and we were just, there's no energy. There's no one was up and about. It was just, okay, we got the win. And, so coming into this week, it was kind of like, what are we going to get? We're going to have the same kind of attitude going in. But as soon as that second quarter hit, man, it was just on.
It went nuts. Tim Kelly was a bit quiet, wasn't he? I think Marco Connor, the Shark. He's got a few nicknames, the Irish bloke going around the club now. So he had another great game before he got injured.
Yeah, so he did a hammy, I think.
Yeah.
So he's going to – that's probably good, probably at least a couple of weeks out. But he's done an awesome job being a tagger, so running from defence into the midfield. And so we're going to miss him if he's out. I know we've got some big games coming up, so he's out. He's a hard guy to replace. So it's going to be interesting to see who our ins are next week.
Well, I know we'll talk about the Sydney game in a little bit, but it would have been good to have him against Kennedy or Luke Parker next week, one of those types. So I think we'll miss him, but next man up, I suppose. That's how. It's good. What do you think of Reece Stanley's game? The commentators on the TV probably got a little carried away. I thought Reece Stanley played one of his better games. Very, very serviceable. I don't think he beat Nick Nat. I think they probably levelled out. I think Nick Nat has such a high bar that if you even sort of curtail his influence a little bit, commentators are like, he got the points. I thought it was pretty even. I was just happy that Nick Nat just didn't just run riot all over us. What did you think about Reece Stanley? And his
I thought that was one of his best games as a cat, I thought. I mean, he was not only sort of handled Nick Nat well, he got around the field. If he gets the ball in the middle, he likes to run. He's a pretty good attacking kick in that forward line. I mean, as far as hit-outs go, I mean, Nick Nat only beat him 25-22, so it was close. Then you go around the ground and see how many possessions he had, 15 touches around the ground. So if you can put more of those performances, because we don't really have another guy who can really step into that role. So if he needs to be on like this, so let's hope that he can string some good games together, because we're gonna need him the next month of real tough footy.
Exactly. I mean, clearly we'd want a Nick Nat or a Grundy or a Maxi Gorn, but at the end of the day, if Reece can just do his job, play a role, and minimise the impact on the opposing ruckman, I'm happy with that. And as long as he doesn't stuff around and hurt us too much with these silly sideways kicks or using handballs or something like that. I just want him to get it long. But he did all the right things. So really happy with the way he played. Great game in his 150th. Really happy with that. Probably the other thing I want to say about the game, and I'll get on to your positives and negatives in a minute, Sim. But what's your thoughts on the pressure? That was the pressure that we were bringing in the forward line and through the midfield. That's been a bit absent in the last 3 or 4 weeks, or probably even longer as well. It was good to see some of that back. Around the boys were hunting the ball, and West Coast didn't seem to have any oxygen, did they?
No, that's it. We were just on. That's like, funny thing is, when we we're on in so many different ways, and that's one of the ways where we was good at was the pressure. Like our forwards, like Hawkins is a good pressure guy. Cameron loves to chase down. You know what Gary Rowan's like. Once he gets his jets on, he'll chase anyone down and put them on their backside. But Brandon Close as well. He's another good attacking. He's a good runner. He chases, he tackles, he does all the things you want to see out of that. And the midfielders were just on. I mean, Selwood's, you can guarantee every week he's going to be doing this thing. Guthrie, always. I mean, that was probably one of the best things about the game, was just the pressure. We were ganging up on people. It was beautiful to watch.
Oh, it's great. It's great. I mean, it's great seeing the close speed of Rowan and Close, both of them. Like, West Coast defenders, like, Jesus Christ, there's another bloke coming. And even, I mean, Delhouse doesn't have that speed, but even he was probably 10% better than he's been throughout the year. So it was good to see him play a little bit. But he missed that shot on goal. Would have been great at the end to see him get a goal, a gettable goal in his 200th. But even his pressure, it looked like it was back. So, I mean, I don't know if everyone will agree with that, but I thought he was a bit better yesterday too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, because the last month he's been really poor. He's been lucky to hold his spot. Yeah. And but yeah, that's the thing. You can look at the stats and say, oh, he only had 15 touches and no goals. But if you're not able to get the ball in, at least you can pressure. I mean, that's what our forwards do. If they're rushing kicks out of the back line, then that helps our guys in the mid. So as long as he keeps pressuring and at least having a hand in something, which he hadn't been doing the last few weeks. So it's good. That was a better game for him, probably one of his better ones of the year. Didn't dominate, but he's not the kind of player who does dominate. He just needs to play his role, and he did pretty well in the weekend.
That's it. All right, so what are your 2 or 3 takeaways from the game? Like things you'd like to see a bit more of, anything that concerned you out of the game at all? I mean, we had a couple of injuries.
Yeah, the injury. Yeah, so O'Connor and Jake Kolajasny both did a left hamstring, so they're going to be out. That's going to hurt, because, I mean, they're 2 defenders who are good running with the ball out of that back line, so that's going to be hard to cover. So I don't know who's going to drop back there. Concerning Blitzarv's trying to bite off more than he can chew too many times. I mean, he gave away 2 goals in that first quarter. I mean, the one he needs to rush it over the line. Probably could have been pinged before that. It was a bit like the Brisbane game where he had the ball in there and got tackled, but this time he just tried to keep it in for some reason. So taking it over the line, getting the ball back, he's tapped it, and there's what's his name, Oscar, whatever his name is, Oscar Allen there for the easy goal. And then in the back line with no pressure, I mean, the rain's starting to trickle down. You biting off a kick backwards right into the heart of the back line, overcooked it, and then Brandon grabs it, runs in, kicks a goal. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes he's kind of trying to do too much. He just needs to make the simple play sometimes. But
when he does the simple thing, he just plays that lockdown defending role. And to his credit, if you actually look at his influence on the game in terms of what he did to Oscar Allen, I mean, if you forget about those, it's pretty hard to forget about the 2 gifted goals, but if you can bring yourself to forget about that, he actually played pretty well on Oscar Allen for the whole game. I think Allen might have got one back late on him, but pretty much for 3.5 quarters, he did a good job. He just, as you say, he just probably sometimes lets himself down with that disposal or that decision making, or but he's 2-time Kaji Group medalist. He's doing something right. He's not a bad player. It's just occasionally gets himself in those situations where you kind of cringe a little bit when you watch him. You think, oh God, here he goes. Especially that sideways, backwards sort of play that we have. I much prefer Stewart in that role than away from that. Yeah.
Yeah, so there was one guy I want to mention who I thought he's been awesome this year. And I don't think too many people saw it coming. And that's Lockie Henderson.
Oh,
I mean, he seemed to kind of like he was at the end of his career last year, and he kind of thought, oh, he's probably going to be lucky to get a game. And I thought last year he might even retire. But this year he's got something. He's been on something, I'll tell you, because he's just picked things up. He's going forward. He's beating his man. He's taking grabs in packs down back. He's making good decisions. So that's been a big plus for us. I mean, I definitely didn't see that coming out of him.
No, not at all. I mean, you if anything, you probably expected him to sort of drop off about 5% or something this year. Just, he's getting older and things like that. I want to mention, and I'm not sure, we'll get to the votes in a little bit, but I want to mention Jack Henry, Hollywood Jack.
Oh
my goodness me, is he a bloke that stepped up this year? Pick for round 1. Jeez, if we had had him, we'd be probably doing a lot better. But he was amazing. Things he's been doing. He's got confidence. He's going forward, doing a little check side goal.
How good was that goal? Gets around a guy, check side kick off.
Goodness me. I was great. Loving him. I mean, I couldn't find a bad player on the ground, so I'm trying to find a negative. Probably the only negative, just a couple of missed handballs in the first quarter, which just want to get a bit better at that. But it's pretty hard to play a full 4 quarters of good footy. But I just thought some of the just handballing behind a player on the run and just missing it or overusing it. But then I think we just sort of we found something in that second quarter and the rest of the game after that, and those sort of went away from our game.
Brandon Parfitt was a little bit quiet, a bit unusual for him. Yeah, he had I think it's 15 or 16, which okay. Gave away 3 free kicks, so which is a bit unlike him a little bit. But he was quiet. But I know you can't have every guy getting 25, 30 touches. But Jack Henry, had 25 and a goal. And he was right on the brink of my votes, trying to get him in because he was really good.
Well, it's probably a good little segue. Who did you have in your best 3 on the ground?
Oh man, that was tough. So I've got 6 names. I'm trying to break them into 3 votes. So
the one you had the best on, and I'll tell you who I had best on. I think we'll be pretty similar, I'd say.
Yeah, Mitch Duncan best on. 4 goals, and I think it was how many touches? 29 or something touches.
Something like that.
No, was it? No, 30. No, that's how many did he have? 26 touches, 13 marks, 4 goals. I mean, that was big. I mean, he's good at going forward and kicking one here and there, but I don't think he's ever kicked 4 in a game.
I can't recall. I mean, people might be able to prove us wrong, but I think he's had a bunch of 3s and all that sort of stuff. But he was amazing. Could have had 5. He kicked 4 goals, 1 I think in the end, but pretty accurate kicking for the whole game. But that 5th shot at goal towards the end, that would have been fantastic, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah,
definitely. If he doesn't get the 10 coaches' votes, I'll be very surprised.
Next best I had. Well, it's getting tough now to break them down. Yeah. So I'm thinking Guthrie with 35. He was pretty good. He wasn't dominating, but he was good out of the middle, setting things up with handballs to guys running by. I'll probably sneak him in for a couple.
Yeah, it's funny. I think our votes are sort of, at this stage, pretty similar. I've had Guthrie in my top 3 as well. I definitely have Duncan best on. I don't really have a second and third best on. It's sort of just all the top 3 the way I do my votes. But I had Guthrie in the top 3, not so much because of a standout sort of quarter or a big moment. I think he was just really good all through the game. Did all the right things all the time.
Yeah.
And so, he probably went unnoticed a lot of the time, but it's just due to a lot of the exciting plays that were going on. But he was just there all throughout. 4-quarter performance from him. Really loved it.
Yeah, and the other one was sneaking in for me was Lockie Henderson. He had 25 touches and 2 goals. Coming out of defence, he was tremendous, man. That was the best game I've seen him play as a Cat, for sure.
No, it was great. I had, and I was frustrated by him at times. I had Selwood, just due to the contested ball work that he did. A lot of it, he's getting the ball in pressure situations, and sometimes he's going to turn it over because of that. But he was our engine on the day. He got a whole heap of it. When you get a whole heap of footy, you're probably going to turn it over a bit more than the bloke that gets 10 touches, or you'd hope so anyway. So I reckon Selwood just snuck it, but that third spot on that top 3 for me was really, really tough. I wanted to fit Henderson in there. I wanted to fit who else? I wanted to get Henry in there and probably even Stewart and a bunch of others. I could have. Let me check who I had. Hawkins, I nearly got in there as well. You could have thrown a blanket over 6 or 7 of them. It was really, really tough. But
the ones that missed out, the ones that missed out for me, Stanley was right on the brink of getting in there. Yep. Jack Henry.
Yep.
And the guy in the second quarter just took over, I thought, and just changed just the pressure and kicking 3 goals was Gary Rowan as well. The second half, he kind of wasn't really amongst it. But when the game was there in the balance early on, he turned it on big time, taking some big marks, running up the ground, taking big marks, kicking 3 goals. So he was close to votes as well, I reckon.
I'll keep the show moving, but I might have to talk about him next week because just with him, just with Hawkins and Jezza and just a few other elements in that forward line now, you can just see Rowan just going bonkers in the next few weeks, just with that. With him not being the second forward. Is worrying about. He's just going to have a lot more time, and all of those forwards are just going to have a lot more opportunity. It's going to be great to watch. So yeah,
I know, man. Looking forward to these big games coming up for sure.
I can't wait. We talked about the injuries. No reports out of the game as far as I can tell. Not on our side anyway. Nick Nat just a bit of a jumper punch. Nearly took out Blitzard's ample jaw at one stage, but just missed. So probably they won't look at that. I wouldn't have thought they'll let that one go. So our guys got off. Hawkins,
I don't think there's any issues.
So that was good.
Yeah, that's it. You always worry about Hawkins and even Rowan. When they start wrestling someone, you just think they're just 1 second away from just dropping a punch in there and getting 2 weeks, especially Hawkins. So yeah, those are no issues there. So I think I can't remember what happened. I remember they were booing Dom Sheed every time we got the ball, so I don't know if I missed something there or what happened.
All right, you want to hang around for a bit, Sam? We're going to go through some Twitters. You want to have a bit of thoughts on some of that? All right, so I'll read them out. The Geelong Cats blog says, if there's one big takeaway from that term, I think he's talking about the second quarter, it's that Dangerfield may never need to start forward ever again. And also Brad Close should play every remaining game this season.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting with Danger. That'd be good if we can keep him in the guts because when he goes forward, he's going to get the ball, but he's a horrible set shot at goal. So just keep him in the guts as much as we can. So if we're fully fit, then like you said, there's no reason for him to go forward.
Exactly. Definitely. Thanks, Geelong Cat. Matt A.T. Turvey says, I thought Henderson, Stewart and View's forward movement was exceptional today and kick-started a lot of our attacks into the forward 50. I think that was close to Henderson's best game for us, and it was nice to see him snag a couple of goals. So you had him, Sim, as your top.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good comment there, Matt.
Yeah, that's it. Hughes always is very underrated. I mean, I think he had 18 touches, and his drive forward is good. You can see him improving with every year that he's been on the list. So he's kind of made that back pocket his own now.
He just finds a way through traffic, doesn't he, Busey? So I love it when it just reminds me of Michael Mansfield back in the day. Just find a way through, just turn, and defenders would go flying in the wrong direction. Forwards in the other end of the ground. Yeah, thanks for that, Matt. Jeff Murphy says, Geelong Cats, now that's how you play football. The effort you put in today has to be the standard for the rest of the year. Great start, Jay Cameron. Go Cats. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we talk about, effort, just being on, just aggressive. If you don't have the football, so much you can still do. And let's hope we can carry it forward. Games like Richmond coming up. So.
Yeah, we'd love to see that standard. Well, we won't expect it week after week, but, we should, but it's unrealistic to assume we're going to, kick 13 goals in a row every week against opponents, but like we did against West Coast. But, we want that intensity. We want the pressure around the ball. We want players getting around each other. A bit of goal accuracy always helps, doesn't it? And just that disposal efficiency. We want to see a lot more of that throughout the rest of the year. So thanks, Jeff, on that one. Here we go. I'd love to see, I'll be honest with me, Sim, here. Andrew at AR Jackman 85 says, where are the Scotty haters today, the Chris Scott haters? Now, have you been anti-Chris Scott in the last few weeks? Or?
No, I don't think I've never really been anti-Chris Scott.
There's been a lot of them out there, goodness.
Yeah, he's, it's too much of a cop-out, just blaming the coach, saying, when we're not playing well. It's not, I don't agree so much with the way we've been playing lately as far as our game plan goes. That, chip it backwards, chip it forwards. Okay, let's go backwards again. It's just, with the new style that's being played around the league with the new rules, if we can play like we did in that second quarter where it was aggressive, I think one of the good things about the game was when the rain came, because that made us, okay, you can't chip it around. We've got to pump it forward, get it forward. And when we do that, we're as good as anybody. So, that's part of the game plan I don't understand, but I still trusted him in what he's doing, but I'm just a little bit confused sometimes on some things. Yeah,
well, hopefully we'll see a bit less of it. Clearly, at certain times of the game, it's useful to get control of the momentum or control how the flow of the game's going. But we've been overdoing it probably because of personnel issues. So now we've got Jeremy Cameron in the side and some other players sort of coming back slowly in key positions. I think that makes a big difference. So I'll be curious to see how we go next week against Sydney, see what that does on a bit of a smaller ground, and how we go against in the big one in a couple of weeks against the Tigers on the Friday night at the MCG. We'll see how we go against that one. Yeah. Thanks for that, Andrew. Ian Bennett at Wildcat 2007 says, can't believe I was forced at gunpoint to go to birthday drinks with my wife and friends. Replay was damn fine, though. Oh, so you didn't get to go and you didn't get to watch it live. Oh, Andrew. Sorry, Ian. Sorry. That's a bit of a shame, but yeah. I hope you were checking the scores or had a bit of audio going at some point, snuck in the earbuds in your ear somehow.
That's where you need your Foxtel Go or whatever on your phone, your AFL app. Trundle off to the bathroom, you've got a stomach ache. You're there for a quarter.
I've just got to go to the bathroom, love. I'll be back in 30, 40 minutes. But that's bad luck that you missed that, Ian. That was a great game to watch. So hopefully you'll get there next week. Or be able to watch it on the telly if you can't get to Sydney, which most of us probably won't. But it should be on the telly anyway on the Saturday night, hopefully. A couple more. Fiona Henderson says, Fiona at Fifi Kins says, we played the game as it should be played at home. Now to see us play it far away. Can we also ensure that all finals are played in Geelong, please? Perhaps No Danger lets other players shine. For 5 weeks, I've said we don't want to peak too early, but if we carry on like today, ... The No Danger one was interesting. I think I'd forgotten that Danger wasn't playing at one point. And just seeing how the Cats were just moving the ball, and interesting that when a good player goes out, and you see this when players retire as well, usually like with Tim Kelly leaving last year, that was all of a sudden Guthrie just comes out of nowhere. So sometimes it's not always a bad thing when you lose a certain type of player. Clearly, we don't want to lose a Tom Hawkins or someone like that, who's a really key sort of in terms of structurally, but one of those midfielders dropping out, it kind of does help, in my opinion at least, encourages some other blokes to stand up. What do you think, Sim?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, guys in the centre, like Parfitt's stepped things up this year. That's probably due to Danger being out early as well. Menegol is always running pretty wild at times. So, but other guys, Guthrie, like you said last year, that's when he really went to another level. when he had more of an opportunity through the middle there. But as far as what the tweeter said about the grounds as well, next week I think Sydney ground's going to suit us. It's kind of seems like more of a similar ground to ours. I'm not sure the dimensions of it, but we always seem to play pretty well up that way. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there, because Sydney had a loss against Gold Coast yesterday. And they lost pretty convincingly. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens now.
Yeah, they look like lost a couple now, Sydney, but we'll see how they go. Anyway, last Twitter comment for the week, Riley Nelson at Riley Nelson 31, and Riley says, "Cat's absolutely taking the piss here. You know you're having a rough day when Jack Henry is selling candy and kicking check half back against you."
Oh man, as he stepped through two defenders, just looked like a natural forward. Just the angle of that snap, the what do you call it, check side, tremendous.
Beautiful. It was great, wasn't it? He's kicked a few goals in the last 3 weeks, Henry. So it'll be interesting to see whether he continues playing that swingman role in coming weeks, whether we need him or not. But it's that sort of free flowing sort of style of football. You know, you might see a few more of those defenders just run off their man and give the opponent some more things to worry about, in addition to your Camerons and Hawkins and Rowans and those types of players. So they've got opposing teams have got some headaches. Now, we talk very glowingly about the Cats when we have a win, and I'm sure if we lose next week, we're bringing the rage. I'll have the red filter on this show.
Oh yeah,
fire in the virtual background.
Oh, man.
But do you want to look ahead to Sydney? What do you think? I know Kennedy and Parker had good games, but they've got Buddy out at the moment. I think McCartan might be out as well. I think Papley's playing, so those three guys worry me the most. Even though Kennedy's getting a bit older, he wound the clock back a bit the other day. But any major concerns for that game? It's at the SCG. I think we go all right there. What do you think?
Probably maybe a smaller defenders with Kolajasny and O'Connor out. I think Clark's got to come in now, Jordan Clark, so he can play a bit of forward, bit of back as well. So he might need to sort of go backwards a little bit until he spend more time back rather than in the midfield like he has been a little bit. I'm hoping we get to see Charlie Constable come in. Yeah. PC Charlie, get him in there. And because he's just waiting for someone to come out, basically. He's ready to rock and roll. And every time he steps in there, it's kind of hard to see why he gets dropped again. Yeah. So I'm hoping he's in. But if we win the midfield, we win the game. Simple as that. You get the ball forward and expecting Hawkins and Cameron and Rowan and everyone up there to get amongst the goals next week. So carry this forward and, start pumping teams like we used to.
Definitely. I know. As much as I'd love to see Constable get opportunities, I was just keeping an eye on the VFL. It was a practice match yesterday, but Max Holmes, good old Sherlock, another 3 goals. I'd love even more speed in the team if we can bring it in. Bring Clark and Sherlock in, and geez, our boys are rolling. It'll be really interesting to see what the team look like if we had those two in for, as you said, put with Kolodashny out, maybe put Tui back a little bit and play a bit of more of a smaller forward, smaller defence. I'd love the two of them to come in. Hopefully we keep blokes like Brad Close in the side. Doesn't look like Narkle's going to get up. I think he might have done an ankle in the Magoos. Probably DeConnie. Probably he's going to have to just be a bit patient to get some games. So
yeah, that's it. And I tell you, we haven't talked about is Isaac Smith. He's a guy we always forget to mention.
Hard to talk about him.
Yeah, I know. Every time I see him, I still just want to punch something. But he's been pretty good. He's just quietly going about his job, really. So it's been good that we haven't had to talk about him.
Well, he's been that bloke. He's the extra speed on the wings. He had a few bounces on the weekend, didn't he? He carried it probably 150 metres. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but he had a moment there. I'm thinking, okay, this is what we got him for. Just that run along the wing, just take those long strides, get it long. I think we might have got it out of bounds or turned it over, but the amount of distance he got in just that one little run, that's kind of what you want him inside for. And the other blokes there, it's like, flick the switch, boys, and let's see what this. We've got all these weapons. Let's use them. Now we've got Cameron and Hawkins. We're good to go. Hopefully they can stay fit and healthy. And Cats are. We don't look back from here. Round 6. We love a good round 6 game. I remember back to 2007 against Richmond. Round 6 was the big round. So
yeah, the turning point.
It's the turning point game. So I'm pretty confident. I'm going to pick the Cats next week against Sydney. I think it'll be like a 5-goal game, but I'm pretty confident that we'll get the win there and we'll do enough. Won't be as impressive as what it was this week, but I think we'll do enough to get the win there. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I mean, hopefully this is just the turning point for us now where this is what we can do. We got a great glimpse of it yesterday, so I think we're going to flick that switch. And I think on that small ground, it's going to suit us. Get the ball into our bigs, Hawkins and Cameron. Then you have the little tip rats like Myers hanging around. You get some loose balls too. So looking forward to it. I think we should win and should win pretty well.
Yeah, great. Well, it's been great having you on the show, Simdog. Where can people find? You've got your own show, haven't you? Simon Reviews Beers, I think it's called. Or Simon
on Instagram, I've got Simon_reviews_beer. On YouTube, you can get me Renegade77. That's kind of more of a beer and travel and whatever kind of channel. Haven't been able to do much travel, obviously, so it's been a little bit dead lately, but I'm going to get that up and pumping. But, so Instagram or YouTube. I think I'm still banned on Twitter. I got a little bit too passionate after the North Melbourne game and copped a ban. So, but I'm not really much on Twitter. So, yeah, Instagram, Simon Reviews Beer, or YouTube, Renegade77.
No worries. Well, thanks, Sim. I'll put your links to your shows in the show notes down below. And yes, follow me on Twitter. I think what am I? I can't remember what I am now. I think just been beers with something like that. I'm all over Twitter. If you haven't found me by now, I'm sure you don't know what you're looking at. And yeah, watch the show. Share the show if you can. Like and subscribe to all those things. We're building the show up slowly. I think it's been a lot of fun. I think we've been going a couple of months now, and it's great to start bringing some guests in, like Sim and Mel last week, and we've got a few other people lined up. Got the Chaps Chat Cats in a few weeks, and possibly got Tissio, who does some YouTube stuff as well. He might be coming on soon, and even a couple of the boys from one of the Swans podcasts might be coming on after the game next week as well. We're going to still kind of confirm all that, but I'm hoping that we'll be able to get some of the Swannies podcasters on to share their thoughts from the other side's perspective. So we are a little bit biased on this show, aren't we, Sim?
No, that's not.
But yeah, thanks for coming on, Sim. Hopefully we can get you back later in the year. That'd be great.
Sweet as. Yeah, anytime, man.
Yeah. All right, guys. Enjoy the win. Have a great Sunday afternoon. Have another coffee. Did you get your coffee, Sim? I've nearly finished my second one this morning.
Yeah. Your second one. I'm still on the first one.
I'm a bit cold. The Late Show with David Letterman. I'll put that in the show note. I think that's off there. Take care, guys. Enjoy.